Good evening and welcome to Think About It Using Common Sense. I missed yesterday. Normally I try and come on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but yesterday I was busy, so today I'm uh, filling in for yesterday. So I want to start off with I heard something that was really disturbing um, that this football coach lost his job for praying publicly at a game or at games. Um, and it went before the Supreme Court. But this kind of bothered me to the point that, um, from what I understand, it wasn't as if he was telling the players, okay, guys, we have to pray before a game. Even if he did, I mean, that's people's individual choice whether or not they want to pray or not. But from what I understand, what that happened was the coach was praying, and some of the players asked the coach what was he doing. He said, "Hey, look, I'm praying," and they asked the coach, could they join him in prayer? Now, I don't see anything wrong with that. Common sense. When you think about prayer, it's requesting, help or an expression of thanks to God or an object of worship. So, I mean, if you're asking God for extra strength to give you strength to get through this game and you build upon that strength, uh, I mean, what is wrong with that? Especially when you're not suggesting that the students get together and pray before a game. But even if he did, I personally don't see anything wrong with it. Um, you know, to me, based on where the world is going today with all the hypocrisy and lying and stealing and cheating and killing, for every religion that I have read up on, not one do I see that condone this type of behavior. And let's not leave out adultery, fornication. So it seems to me that we have gotten far away from religion, God in our lives, or people uh, putting, trying to follow the laws of God, religion. That seems to be part of the problem today. That's from what I'm seeing. And we have no role models. The role models that we have, they're supposed to be uh, of high values, whatever it is, or whoever it is that they believe in, they say one thing. They all profess to be of high moral standards. And I'm asking, where is those moral standards coming from? We live in a country or living under a democracy, I think, that was founded uh, out of religion, have a religious base. So now all of a sudden, religion is a bad thing when the world is in a disarray behind the fact that all the hypocrisy and the crime and all the other stuff that's going on in the world today. So instead of the coach losing his job, I think he should have gotten a raise. You see, and that's another thing that's really I'm finding very disturbing today is that we seem to be this country, a United States, is getting further and further from being united. It's almost like we are tiptoeing into what could possibly be a civil war, which also could be we was on the threat of losing a democracy. I mean, regardless of what it is, this system, this governmental system, this democracy from which we uh, live under, nothing has seemed to change. We talk about this. We moved here. We've gotten rid of this. We're driving electric cars now instead of gasoline cars. We're trying to, but at the same time, we're fixing a fence once the horse has gotten out already. We talk about we talk about or about our democracy and how good it is and freedom. We talk about all people are equal. They say they're created equal, but we're not treated equal. So there's a lot of hypocrisy going on. I don't know if we're on the brink of progress or we're on the brink of destruction. Because never have I ever felt this way about the government and where we're headed. You know, never before we had an election, whereas uh, it has been challenged when we know. I mean, common sense tell you that if Joe Biden and Donald Trump being the way that he is, if Joe Biden had not won this his election fairly, let's face it, he would not be in the White House. He wouldn't, based on how Donald Trump and his people are. He wouldn't be in the White House, but he won. And he's Donald Trump. I mean, I don't, he is who he is. I have no right to judge anybody, but I'm just using some common sense, looking at it, what has been presented to me. I'm not making up anything. I'm not uh, uh, doing any kind of private investigating on my own. I'm based on the same thing you're seeing, I am seeing, or I have seen, and I'm using some common sense. I saw on January 6th with the attempted coup insurrection in our capital, I saw Republicans and Democrats running for their lives. I saw it. I saw the president. I saw Rudy. I saw another man. I don't know his name, but they sound like to me. They was instigating. They sound like to me. And as far as the committee that's investigating the insurrection, they coming out with all types uh, of evidence and text messages that's saying that there was an attempted coup to take over the government, to take the presidency from Joe Biden, who honestly won. This has never happened before. And the thing that gets me more than anything else is how these Republicans knowingly knowingly been in office for 20, 30, 40 years now, under the same system, the same democracy. But because Donald Trump had so many supporters, even though he lost the popular vote, but he got a lot of votes. And instead of the Republicans doing their job, they chose to say that the election was stolen from Donald Trump. That's what gets me. These are the people. And I mean, before Donald Trump even before he even won the election as president, in the beginning, they all laughed at him. They thought he was a joke. Now, how can you do a flip flop like that? What about the oath that you took to uphold the Constitution, to serve the United States, and to serve the American people? What happened to that? What happened to that? I mean, if I'm missing something, somebody tell me. Now, I wouldn't care. I would feel the same way if the Democrats did it. It's all about the hypocrisy, being holding true to the oath that you took and serving this country and serving the American people, not yourselves, not special interest groups, as we know you do, as politicians do. But at the end of the day, you don't sell your democracy, man. You don't step on the Constitution. You don't flip flop on that. If you flip flop on that, you don't flip flop out of government with no respectability whatsoever. That's what I don't understand. And now you're trying to rig the voting rights, from what I'm hearing. So now you can contest anytime you lose. You can say, "Oh, it was robbed. It was rigged." What's wrong? This is a destruction of America. People, our freedom, our rights are in jeopardy of being lost. This has nothing, well, in a sense, I was going to say it has nothing to do with color, but at the end of the day, that's the forefront of it. But in all actuality, when it comes down to it, and you start talking about losing our democracy, everybody, that falls under everybody. You have to start thinking for yourself. You just can't believe everything that somebody is telling you. And we have a lot of things is getting ready to change. A lot of things is going to change. And the changing has nothing, it has not so much to do with who's in office as it is the climate, as it does with wars. It has a lot to do with the population growth, supply and demand. This coronavirus is far from over, far, far from over from what I'm reading. And people, we're not taking these things serious until it hit. And when it hit, it's going to be too late. These people, these politicians, they tell the same thing over and over and over and over. These politicians that's been in office and got this country in a bad shape like it is now, and they talk about taking over. I'm surprised. I was shocked, to be honest with you. I was really shocked even to hear that the Republicans had a chance of winning anything. be honest with you. I was shocked to even hear Donald Trump, not even Donald Trump, but any president that has did what Trump has done, impeached twice. How is it that you could even talk about running for another term, or less winning? And with the Republicans, the GOP, how they have not participated and worked with Joe Biden to make this country better, to make the infrastructure better, to make life for seniors better, life for veterans better, to get this economy under control, to make it better, to help these students that's overburdened with these student loans, to help them ease their debt better. This is what your job is there for. This is what you was voted into office for. Stop every time there's an election, we get about, oh, well, we got to get this person in, we got to get that person in, we want to lower the taxes, we're still in this same predicament, worse than we were 30 years ago, 40 years ago. What's the difference? Are you getting 12, 13, $15 an hour, and a loaf of bread is $5, $6? What's the difference? A sandwich is $14 for a sandwich, $13, $11 for a sandwich. What's the difference? So you got to work an hour. A lot of you have to work an hour to pay for a sandwich. Think about that. So how are things that much better? They're not. Children, if you're not being taught, you still got them out there, got kids out there in the street. I've never heard, to be honest with you, I have never heard in all my years as many children killing children today as there are today. So how are things better? They're not. Corporations and investment people, they're taking over everything. Everything. Neighborhoods, everywhere. Apartment buildings, everywhere. You can't even afford them. So that's a form of discrimination because if you don't have the money, you can't afford them. So that means, guess what? If they in town, certain part of the city, building all these buildings, apartments for rent, and if you don't make a certain amount of money, if you don't have a certain credit rating when they run a credit check on you, you're not in. You're out. You are out. And that's the reality of this thing. This is not a joke, people. I come here and I sit and I talk. You know why I talk? I do this. I do this because in my life I've been blessed to have experiences. And I do pray every day, as a matter of fact. All day. And it works. It works. People have miracles every day. What they call miracles. They call it miracles because they don't understand the strength of prayer and faith. Well, some do, not all. Some do because that's why they do it. They believe in it. But all that is inside of us, and we pray because we have an inward touch with that God within us, that godly consciousness that is within us, that we make when we think and believe and have faith. We make things happen. Believe it. People make things happen. That's why prayer is so good. It's why people that pray, they understand the power that's in prayer. That's why. And they for real with it. A lot of times people pray and it doesn't work because guess what? You're not doing what you're supposed to do in order for prayer to work. It's just like anything else. Anything else. If you want to do something, you have to do it right. If you want to get the results, you're going to get the results based on what you do. That's why in the Bible it says you reap what you sow. It's just that simple. It's not something fake. But there I can understand why, with religion has been let's say not it hasn't been interpreted right. A lot of people they talk about different things about religion. You, they don't realize when they talk about uh, going up in the sky. When I was coming up, your heaven is up in the sky. They don't tell you that heaven is a high state of mind, consciousness. It's a higher level of consciousness, higher level of thinking, a godly consciousness. People say, well, oh, what you have, that's freedom of speech. You can say what you want. But you say what you want, but guess what? There's repercussions. So how is there freedom of speech? People want to, they want to slap you because you say something that they don't like. We have a we have a lot of work, and the work needs to be done on ourselves. You just can't believe everything that someone tells you. And just because, as I've said before so many times, just because somebody have a lot of money or have a certain job, it doesn't make what they say so profound. Like everything comes out of their mouth has to be true. Everything they do has to be correct. No, no. Those people can be very, very dangerous if you really want to know the truth because they have so much power. That money, it's powerful. They have so much money, you can do anything you want to do. Think of that feeling. Anything in this world you want to do, anything in this world you want to have, you can have. Anything. So, once people understand that regardless, you may not be wealthy, you may not have all that money, but you have life, and at the end of the day, that's what's important. And you have to understand and know how to use that life and not become a victim, not become junkies, not become uh, slaves of things, and not believing everything someone say. Don't be like the Pied Piper. Don't be a mouse following the Pied Piper. That's all. And it's not really well, it's not complicated, but you know, being junkies is hard. It's hard to break that addiction. An addiction is an addiction. It's the same. What's the difference? It's the same as dope. People have just as hard a problem as trying to stop eating as a junkie try to stop doing heroin. Same thing. Same results. Same results. Eat the wrong stuff, cancer and death. Same results. One seemed to be just a bit more dignified than the others, if I can say so. And if you're rich, well, you have the money and all the avenues. You can get whatever you want, whenever you want it. So you being a junkie is just not displayed. They do the same thing. But we have to uh, realize what's important. It's really important, and these politicians have got to be checked. We just can't. You can't vote somebody in office based on what they tell you, because they're going to tell you exactly what you want to hear. And once they get in office, they forget about you. If this wasn't the case, the people in this country would not be in this situation that we're in, because we don't put enough people in office. They don't, all of them tell us the same thing, and nothing happens. Nothing. But yet, when you turn your back, when you get in office, you've been elected to do a job. And when you turn your back on this country, on our democracy, and the American people, just so you can be on the whatever side you want to be on and have money. No, 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 no. That is not good for the American people. It's not good for the country. It's not good for our democracy. You cannot be trusted. Simple as that. I mean, that's anybody. That's just a principle. If you fall under that umbrella, and you know who you are, you know what you believe, you know what you're doing, because at the end of the day, everybody, whether you believe it or not, everybody has to pay for every thought they think and every deed that they do. Everybody. And if everybody believed that, which they don't believe, because if everybody really believed what I just said, this world would not be like it is. It would be. They don't believe it. You know, I believe it. That's why I do what I do. I believe it. It's one thing to talk it and all this stuff, but it's not about that. It's not about that. Because at the end of the day, we all have to we all have to answer for what we do. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, you just think about this for a minute. The next thing what we're trying to do, not we're trying to do, but the rich trying to do, explore in outer space. Now, you're exploring in out of space. Just think about that. You're exploring outer space. Why would you want to go in outer space? This planet is for us humans. The planet gives out what we take in, we give out what the plants take in. We work hand in hand. Humans, life, and this planet. Common sense. There is no other planet in the solar system uh, identical to Earth. It's not. It's common sense. Just like all the snowflakes that fall, there's no two identical snowflakes. Is there life on other planets? Possible. But it won't be in the form of humans. It'll be based on the planet, because they would have to be one and the same, as if just as the humans are to Earth. But the thing is, we have been so greedy, don't care about anything but ourselves, don't care about the planet. All we want to do is just take, 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 take. We don't care. Only people taking now is people with money. Then we take, we're not knowing the results of what we take. Um, I've often wondered, uh, what happens to the earth when we're taking all this oil out of the earth. Was that oil in the earth for cars and make plastics or whatever we use for fuel for homes and stuff? Was that what the oil in the earth was put there for? I don't think so. So what happens when you just use it all up? Do we need the oil just like you have oil in your car to keep it cool? Do we need the oil in the earth because it spends such high speed, high rate of speed that it keeps it cool? I don't know. It's there for a reason. Uh, all the pollution, we see that uh, in the automobiles, the cars it's giving off, is causing people to breathe, to get all types of lung diseases and all other kind of diseases for which we don't know. Uh, because one thing for sure is your body needs oxygen. Your body gets more nourishment from oxygen. So if you breathe bad air, oxygen, it's going to affect the body in numerous ways. It affects the cells of your body. So everything that we put in our body, it comes out in some form of another. We can call it cancer, we call it this, we call that, but it all comes back. What we're putting out, we're getting it back. So I think we need to really start paying attention to this stuff and not just taking things at face value because it's going to affect everybody. You know, even if they go in outer space and think, well, if something happened on Earth, this planet blow up or they'd be in outer space, they'd be safe out there for a while. But how long can you live in a tin can in outer space? You know, everything, your environment's going to affect you. You know, that's why I think sometimes when they talk, we show these movies, people know. Don't think they don't. People know exactly what's taking place. They know, and movies can tell you that. Just watching a movie can tell you that. Because what makes an actor? An actor is someone that portrays what and how a person acts in a given situation. Right there. What does that tell you right there? You know? So that's something to think about. And COVID, man. COVID, COVID, COVID. There's outbreaks in other countries. Uh, they're masking back up, taking that distance, keeping that safe distance. But I don't know how safe how safe is the distance or even the mask. But at least it helps. They say the shots and things help. But you can't dib and dab on the virus. If you dib and dab on the virus, you're dibbing and dabbing on the results of the virus. Here today, gone tomorrow. Here today, gone tomorrow. Here today, gone tomorrow. And then here today, stay today. And continue to stay as it's going to continue to get worse. And this is what's going to happen if we don't do what's necessary to the best of our ability to get this thing under control, because it's never going away. But we have to get it in a place where our bodies can handle this thing. And we have to find out what it is, and we have to do what it takes to do it. Because if we don't, we're going to find ourselves, whether it's this year, next year, or the year before, we're going to find ourselves in a pandemic that's going to uh, be very, very detrimental to a lot of people. A lot of people. So that's something that we need to really think about and start deciding what are we going to do. Just for an example, last week they said uh, to wear the mask in the schools, wear masks indoors. 3 days later, no, kids don't have to wear masks. You don't have to wear masks indoors. Okay, see, so they don't know what to do. But one thing's for sure, that type of response to the coronavirus is keeping the coronavirus alive, and it's going to keep uh, people dying as well if we don't really do something about this thing. Uh, you know, they said the guy that owns Tesla has just purchased Twitter, 44 billion. The richest man in the world, this Musk guy. Uh, you know, he has that kind of money. He can purchase whatever he wants to purchase, and that's the I guess the good things I guess for him that he can have that. But when a person has that much money and can purchase things like Twitter or purchase anything he wants, he's the richest man on the planet. You know, where does that put the rest of us? Um, he can do whatever he want to do. I mean, but that and I get that. I'm not saying I get that. But there has to be, I think there would still need to be some kind of, you know, control to some degree. Uh, and I get the freedom of speech. I get that. But still, don't you think there has to be some kind of control over somewhere? I don't know. I'm just putting that out there. It's just, you know, especially the way people are. You know, people have a tendency to believe everything. I don't know. That's just tough. It's a tough call. Uh, he can, man, anybody has that kind of money can buy what they want to buy. But sometimes I think a person can have too much power. You know? Uh, I mean, with that kind of money, could he buy the presidency of the United States? Possibly. With that kind of money, could he buy Twitter? Could he buy Facebook? You know, could he buy Google? Could he own all three of them? You know, so, and then I mean, you got SpaceX. He's going out of space, coming back, landing. You know, I'm sure he's gonna throw some. I'm sure he's gonna throw some mean townhouses out there in outer space. You know what I mean? With some sonic views, man. Can you imagine that outer space with some bad townhouses out there with some, all kinds of clubs, man. He can have his own world. This man is so powerful, got so much money. He could build his own world in outer space. Do whatever he want to do. Nothing. There's no governing in outer space. I don't think. Hmm? So, excuse me. It's a lot, man. It's powerful. It's powerful. But I mean, that goes with the territory. You got that kind of money. You know what? Do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, there's a transition going on, and we the people here. And I'm talking about all the people. We can't be. We got to stop fighting amongst ourselves and thinking about this person and that person and these persons. These people going to take over. Nobody's going to take over. Nobody's going to take over because the rich controls and they're going to continue to control it. I think it's a hell of a system. I think it's a hell of a system that, when you think about it, that the rich put together, that people can, all these millions of people can function, can eat, can live. They got a system, an electrical system going where they got, people got electric in their houses, and everybody got the internet, the supermarkets, the system to buying the food, the farmers. I mean, it's a great system that they put together. But it's just that they got greedy and they want to take it all. They just want to keep the pressure, keep the hammer down on the people for whatever reason. I guess, you know, I have my thoughts why, but it's you know, just got to ease up on some of the money. The people just got to get educated so they can start doing better. I was walking down, not walking, but I was driving in some streets today, and I'm gonna tell you, the streets were deplorable. Man. I never seen like trash and parts of the city just riding through. I mean, people don't have to live like that. People can get a broom. You can get a broom and keep your own streets clean. You can get together and get a bucket of paint and paint the scrapes and the scratches, off the walls and stuff like that. Put your trash in bags and pile them up for trash day. Some things you have to take control of yourselves. You just can't rely on other people to do everything for you. You have to learn how to manage your money. You have to realize that your children, once you realize your children are your 401ks, they are your future, not that you're raising them to take care of you, but if you raise your child, you know, with love and see to it that they get they educated properly so they can have a good job, so they can be up to date with the changing of times and the system that we live. It's beneficial for them and it's also beneficial for you because at the end of the day, we're all going to get old. But if you take care of yourself, you won't. I mean, you old is there's nothing wrong with getting old. To be honest with you, nothing at all. Because what people don't realize is as you get older, the whole world is getting old on your level right along with you. So it's not that, I think it's a bad thing. And if you live right, if you think right, realize no such thing as dying if you do the right thing and study right and use your head right. So, all these things we put in our minds. We've been indoctrinated with a lot of things that's puts fear into us. And fear is something that holds you back and make you do things you wouldn't normally do, stuff like that. But you know, at the end of the day, it's all how you think, man. It's all how you think, and based on the world we live in, based on our environment, a lot of us not thinking properly, man. We need some direction, and it's here. It's here, and this is what it's supposed to be. People as people live, they learn. You live and you learn, and you pass it on to your children, to the young that's coming up. So they don't learn by your, but by they learn by from your you learn from your mistakes and you pass it on to them. So as they grow, they won't make the same mistakes that you made. So that when that will enable them to move further, faster, and smarter. But today, see, now things, see, television, social media, oh my goodness, destroying these kids. Destroying, they're not even using their brain. Worst thing in the world. Worst thing in the world. They don't have to use their brain. They don't have to think. Look it up. How much is this? Look it up. Where is this? Look it up. 5 plus 5. Look it up. No, not good. Not good. Not at all. And then we have certain people that, that's they learn all they do, they just live to be one thing. They this. But it's life is not about one thing. Life is about people. You got people don't even know how to they don't even know how to socialize. They have no conversation. It's terrible. You get life from living things, not from computers, cell phones. There's no uh, human contact. Eliminates feelings, eliminate emotions, all these things. And we most definitely need to. I can't stress this enough. We need to demand that these politicians stay true to their word, to their promises. They need guidelines. Just like if you're on a job, if you don't do what you're supposed to do on the job, if you fall down on the job, guess what? An employer is not going to continue to pay you full salary and give you benefits, and you're not doing your job, or if you don't even, especially if you don't even believe in the job that you're doing, he's still gonna give you top dollar? No way. So why should these politicians get it? We got to hold them accountable. We got to have some transparency. And guess what? If they don't do their job, they got to get off the pot, man. What's the harm in it? What's the harm? And if they don't do their job, they got to go. What's the harm in that? That's an incentive for them to do their job. But right now, they have none. Now, I know I keep talking about it, but that's important. That's coming up. And I'm gonna tell you, if we have another insurrection in this country, and if our democracy, which it looks like to me, it's in jeopardy, we're gonna be in serious trouble. And you don't miss your water. It's what those saying goes. You don't miss your water till your well runs dry. Okay. You don't miss your so-called freedom until it's gone. Understand? You don't miss it until it's gone. And it wasn't given. Wasn't given. People fought and died on both sides of the aisle for freedom, for our democracy. Even as polluted as it is, it's still a democracy worth saving, and it's up to us to keep some kind of transparency on these politicians and hold them accountable for what they do not do, what they're doing. And as for these crime in this city, it's way out of control. It's going to get worse. Crime is going to get worse because getting back to religion again. If you don't believe in anything, okay, you're uneducated, you don't believe in anything, you think life's a joke, you think you can just get a gun and do whatever you want to do. And I mean that's on the higher level and the lower level. The higher levels they commit crimes and do things, and guess what? They don't get punished. Keep doing it. You know, lower level, you don't know anything. You think you can go ahead and do something, get away with it. You don't believe in nothing. You don't care about yourself. Hey, guess what? You go out there and do it, get shot, killed, or whatever. Don't matter. You don't have anything anyway. It don't matter. Now if you mess around and get high and stuff, man, you don't care. So it's bad. It's bad, and it's really frightening. It's frightening because we're right in the middle. We're right in the middle, and I'm gonna tell you, we're in like a circle, and it's just closing in on us. Everything is closing in on us, and even with Ukraine, that's a threat that could be. They shouldn't even be talking nuclear wars, but they talking using nuclear weapons. When you start talking nuclear weapons, you're talking the possibility of a third world war, a nuclear war. That's what we're talking. That's what we're hearing. And they have them. You know those sayings, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. We got a threat of a nuclear war. We got the climate, the poles melting, sea levels rising. We got famines closing in on us. We got the coronavirus closing in on us. We got the mentality, uh, 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 gun violence, losing their minds. I'm telling you, it's terrible. I've never seen so many young people walking the street begging. So a woman downtown today, it's truth. I'm seeing it 1 minute she's hollering and screaming, next minute you see her undressing on the street, laying on the street and stuff, just screaming. I'm telling you, it's terrible. And definitely, if somebody's gonna take the time and pray before a game, he needs to be commended, not lose his job. So anyway, uh, thank you for listening to me. Um, I will be back Thursday. And thank you all very, very much and have a wonderful, wonderful